over there, okay?
All right,
Good, thank you.
Forgive me for not getting up, but once I get down, it hurts like the dickens to get up.
Oh, please. I think it's incredible that you could even do this to begin with, especially on such short notice.
Oh.
But I really do appreciate it. I want you to know that. You must still hurt like all over.
I'm mending. Besides, I should be thanking you for this interview. More exposure we get, the safer we are.
For you and your family.
And anyone involved in my campaign. That's why I want to get back out there in the face of the opposition. The more vocal I am, the more they have to know that if anything else happens to me or mine, they're going to be fingered for it.
Well, one would think so, but still, you know what they say about desperate people.
Desperate measures, I know. But what's the alternative? To give in?
Well, I'm with you on that. What about you, Mrs. Ward? What do you think about your grandson's stance?
I wouldn't expect anything less. And of course, I'm nervous, and I will be until this thing is over, but I thank the Lord that he is alive and he's resilient.
It's all in the genes, Granny Mae.
Well, I want you to know that as soon as the interview starts, I am not going to be pulling any punches.
Well, I would hope not.
No, I'm just going to come right out and ask you if you think that the Quartermains or ALQ was responsible for that vicious attack on you.
Ah, that's the way I like you, Tiffany.
Yeah, okay. Are you almost set up over there, Dale? And can we get the... Let me just...
Get 'em.
Mr. Ward, you've been a highly visible leader of the opposition for the toxic waste incinerator that ELQ proposes to build here in the Charles Street neighborhood. Do you think that this well-known position of yours might have motivated this recent attack on yourself?
Well, of course, I can't say for certain, but it's my strong belief that it did, yes.
And why do you think that?
Well, earlier the afternoon of the attack, I paid a visit to Ned Ashton, Chief Executive Officer of ELQ.
What was the nature of this visit to Mr. Ashton?
To tell Mr. Ashton and the rest of the supporters of the incinerator project that I would not be put off by scare tactics. You see, I'd received a threatening phone call earlier that afternoon advising me to drop the issue and to leave Fort Charles.
And what was Mr. Ashton's response to this?
Well, he denied any knowledge of the threat, of course. But as I say, the beating occurred that night.
Still, since the ELQ forces could have been responsible for this beating, how do you reconcile that with the fact that Edward Quartermain offered his support for you in your campaign on the night that you actually made the bid for the city council seat?
Oh, frankly?
Please.
Okay, look. We have already had a councilman resign in disgrace for accepting certain favors. And it's my hope that my refusal of Mr. Quartermain's offer would send a signal that I am my own man and I don't intend to reside in anyone's pocket. Now, did that draw battle lines? I guess it did.
Would you be willing to tell us the extent of these injuries that you received that night from these unidentified assailants?
Oh, of course not. Don't mind at all. Starting from the top, severe concussion, hairline skull fracture, several broken ribs. I had a ruptured spleen, which was removed in emergency surgery. There were other internal injuries, complications of which led to a pulmonary embolism, which took me back into surgery.
And that is a very serious surgery. In fact, you could have died from that. Is that correct?
Absolutely, but it wasn't, because here I am, folks, alive and kicking.
Well, with all of these injuries that you have had, that certainly hasn't weakened your resolve at all, has it?
Oh, on the contrary, it's only strengthened it. And I want to reassure all of my supporters out there. And I'd also like to send a special message to Edward Quartermain, to ELQ, and whoever was responsible for this attack. Give it up, fellas. I won't quit.
Very good. Thank you. Cut. Did you get it all, Dale?
Yes. Oh, hi. Hi, girl. Oh, she's so beautiful. Hi.
Oh. This is the image that I carried for several weeks. You in your rocking chair with Leslie Lou all comfy and cozy in your lap.
Oh, I missed you too, honey. But I must say, bless his heart, Luke was a rock.
Well, the man shines in a crisis.
Which brings us to the obvious. Now that you're home, I still worry that you're not safe here, Laura.
Honestly, May, safety is such a relative state. You know, you can take all the precautions in the world, and it won't guarantee it, no matter how badly you want it.
Yes, but we don't want to be reckless either.
No, of course not, which is why, when I was so weak after I had Leslie Lou, I had to keep a low profile. But there is safety in numbers. And we will all protect each other by being as bold and as public and as unified as we can possibly be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's Justice's approach since the attack. The more out there you are, the less likely someone will try to exact further revenge on you.
Yes, exactly. That's the idea. And besides that, it's our 13th wedding anniversary, and I wasn't about to spend it in Beecher's Corners without my husband.
Congratulations! Oh,
Thank you very
13
much.
now.
Oh, stop. I'm not about to get superstitious now. Do you know where we were on our 12th anniversary? Camped out in sleeping bags on the living room floor of your house.
Your house. Your house.
Now, but at the time we were trespassing. Oh, May. I'm so sorry that I wasn't here when Luke found out about Bradley. That it wasn't a suicide.
Well, honey, you always suspected there was more to it.
There had to be more.
Laura! Laura!
Now, is this a sight for sore eyes?
Well, in my case, sore everything. I would love a hug, but please, please be careful of these ribs.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, welcome home. Welcome home. But you might want to reconsider your timing. You are walking into a hornet's nest. It's been, you know, in spite of missing you and that baby like crazy, he was, still is, the best ally a man could have.
He feels the same way about you.
Did Luke fill you in on the latest about those guys who were involved in your incident?
You mean that they were paid by somebody here in Port Charles?
But they themselves were from out of town. And I have to guess it's the same deal with the guys who roughed me up.
Do you agree with Luke that Frank Smith might somehow be involved in your father's murder?
Absolutely.
How ironic that would be.
I know that Frank Smith would touch both the Spencers and the Wards. You know, the part that doesn't fit, though, is why would Frank Smith be interested in the incinerator?
Well, maybe it wasn't Frank Smith. Maybe it was one of his cronies who's not above adopting some of his tactics. What's on your mind, Granny Mae?
The trial. I'm absolutely dreading having to testify.
Well, it's never easy. Makes you feel any better, I'll be there the whole time. I'm sure you'll be just fine.
It does help a lot. But you know, I have this terrible sense of foreboding that for the life of me, I can't seem to shake.
This case that has gripped the attention of Port Charles like no other in recent memory has come to trial. The jury has been selected, the attorneys have prepared their cases, and the judge, in a very few moments, will commence proceedings in the